past Flow Delhi chair and co-founder and COO, Skin Zest and Nahi Means No. It's my absolute pleasure to welcome our esteemed guest, Mr. Shiv Khera, to Flow. A very warm welcome to our Flow President, Ujjwala Singhania, and all our wonderful members and their friends. May I please request all of you to turn off your mobiles so you are indistractable through this session. Are you all able to hear me?
Yes, we can, Archer.
Yes. Willpower and self-confidence is the supreme power. With such sessions like today's, turning setbacks into comebacks, we increase and strengthen our emotional and mental power. And those whose confidence is high do not lose or give up even after 100 setbacks. Hence, today's session is to make a comeback for ourselves in our personal life, in our professional life, and our business in every which way. And we look forward to none other than Shiv Khera to take us forward on this. A globally known author, a motivational speaker who has interacted in more than 20 countries and has motivated millions of people across the globe to realize their true potential. Mr. Khera, welcome to Flow. His 40 years of research and understanding with over 8 million copies of You Can Win sold globally in 21 languages has put millions on the path of growth and fulfillment. Innumerable corporates and tens of thousands have benefited from his dynamic workshops internationally. May I now invite Ujjwala Singhania, Flow President, to kindly give the welcome address.
Thank you, Archer. A very good afternoon and a warm welcome to everyone. Under adverse conditions, some people break down, some break records. These are the words of our esteemed speaker of the day, and especially true in the current times. We have with us today Mr. Shiv Khera, who is an author, educator, business consultant, and a much sought after speaker. We are in the midst of unprecedented times and have gradually learned to stretch our mental ability beyond the edges. There are several hardships one faces during their journey of success, and one who transforms them into opportunities emerges out to be a winner. Keeping this aspect in mind, the theme for today's webinar is Turn Setbacks into Comebacks. Mr. Shiv Khera will be enlightening us on the same. On behalf of Flow, it's my privilege to welcome Mr. Khera. His 40 years of enriching experience and impeccable speeches have enlightened millions of us and acted as a guiding light. Flow is one of the oldest business chambers of commerce for women, with over 8,000 members across 18 chapters pan-India. With a history of 38 years of women empowerment initiatives, Flow has been able to build a formidable network of motivated and talented women, which in turn contributes towards an enlightened and a stronger society. During the pandemic, many of us have faced major setbacks. In these testing times, we need to reframe our outlooks so that we can use this time to shape our future and unleash our true potential. Mr. Khera, with his able guidance, will illuminate us today on such hindrance to success and stay hopefully all through. We at Flow welcome Ms. Shiv Khera and look forward to learn from him the various facets of roadblocks and roadmaps. I'm sure this session will be an eye-opener for us in many ways. As a token of our appreciation and gratitude, we have a virtual memento and a green certificate for you, Mr. Shiv Khera. IT team, I would request you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. May I request Mr. Shiv Khera to address us, please?
Okay. Well, thanks a lot, Ujjwal and Ancha, for those kind words. I am wondering if I could do all the things that you said I could. I have to think about it if I can do it. But anyway, thanks a lot. It's always a pleasure. Going back to Anchal's mom, and I think that's almost 15 years ago, I had addressed the physical session at the Flow. But anyway, the reason why we picked up a topic called turn setback into comeback was I've had 3 major setbacks in my life where I went into a minus in my life. Minus. What made me come back is what I'm going to share tonight. I'm not that educated. My academics are, I'm a BCom 3rd division. I failed in my 10th. That's my academics. Now, I come from a business family. We had coal mines in India, close to 1,000 people working. Now, I didn't create them, I inherited them. And the government took over. Then after that, we literally came on the street. Street means street. See, my father had died when I was just about finishing college, and we were left with the liabilities and the assets were gone, and I was married only 4 weeks then. And I remember a year later, my daughter was born, and I sold some of the last piece of my mother's jewelry to get released from the hospital. I did not have $10 to buy milk that night. I tried my hands on 3 businesses with no money, and I failed in all 3. Finally, November 13, 1975, I left India. I went to US, initially went to Toronto, and started life with a bucket in my hand, washing cars door to door. For about 1.5 years to 2 years, until I was on the street washing cars. That's how I started my life. And totally by accident, I got into selling life insurance. And I'm glad it happened because that was the best thing that ever happened to me in my life. But within 90 days, my manager called me right back to fire me for non-performance. So I told my manager, I said, my friend, give me one more shot. Give me one more shot. And he was nice enough to do that. And now from this point onwards, Ujjwala, what all happened after this that changed my life? I started hitting $1 million policies, and I got into 3 businesses. I bought out a company out of California in 1984, started the New Jersey operation with no clients, and I sold my company with close to 500 clients for a decent sum. Now, this is my journey for the past 45 years. So I'm going to share as we go along what happened in between. Now, this crisis has literally shaken up the whole world. Now, because of that, there's so much of uncertainty because there is no finish line. Nobody can say when will it finish. So with the result, people are feeling insecure. Now, because of the insecurity, there is a lot of stress, anxiety, depression, frustration, and even anger. This is what is going on within our families and people around us. Now, all I can say is stress is both normal and natural. Anybody who says they have no stress, they belong in the lunatic asylum. Folks, all stress is not bad. In fact, the athlete at the Olympics, is he under stress? Answer is yes. If he was not, there's no way he can perform. Ujjwala, the only example that I can think of is the race course. I bet in the real life or in the movies, we might have seen the thoroughbreds at the race course when they are being taken into the cabin. How are they going? They're jumping like this. They're not walking relaxed. They're jumping like this. You know why? They're under heavy stress. And the moment they're put into the cabin and the bell rings, what do? Bang, they shoot and they perform. Now that's a thoroughbred. But if you take a jackass to the race course, this jackass walks so relaxed, so comfortable. He's not jumping like the thoroughbreds. But then for the rest of his life, he will remain a jackass. He will never perform like a thoroughbred. Now, this statement is very important, Mukul. And it says here very clearly, stress is the price we pay to be a thoroughbred in life. I repeat one more time. Stress is the price we pay. Karuna, stress is the price we pay to be a thoroughbred in life. Now, folks, let us not overrate this crisis and let us not underrate our strength to fight and win. Now, all of us can handle stress. Anshul, all of us can handle stress. You know what we cannot handle? We cannot handle chronic stress. Are you with me? Stress we all can handle. What we cannot handle is chronic stress. Now we start breaking down. So only thing is, think about it. How come under the same set of circumstances, some people break records while others break themselves? How come? Identical circumstances. Now, important question is, this crisis has impacted us three ways. One, it has impacted our life. Two, livelihood. Three, lifestyle. It has impacted all three. Now, how has it impacted our life? Karuna, what we do and where we go and who we meet, it could be a matter of life and death. Yes, no. I repeat, where we go, who we meet, what we do could be a matter of life and death. That's the life component. Now comes the livelihood part. Folks, what this crisis has done is it has made the rich richer and the poor poorer. And many people in the middle class who were considered middle class have joined the poverty line. Okay, why do I say that? You see, the super rich, they don't have any problem. In fact, they're making more money right now. Now, Apple Computers has $250 billion in cash reserve. So they don't have a cash flow problem. You see, I was just reading, in fact, you people can Google it, on the Economic Times, Mukesh Ambani, during this 1 year period, his net worth has gone up by close to $30 billion. You know what that means? 90 crore per hour. Ujjwala, 90 crore per hour. It is in the papers. That's not small money. But you see, the middle class people, you know what's going on? They are thinking, will the money finish before the crisis, or will the crisis finish before the money? Are you with me? They are thinking this way, will the crisis finish before the money, or will the money finish before the crisis? Okay. Now, when we talk of livelihood, when I was selling life insurance, I was on 100% commission. If I didn't sell, I wouldn't get anything. And I didn't have the money anyway. So I performed, and I had to perform, and I'm glad I did. But in my office, I saw there were some people who were getting salaries, and they were not doing the job. Now, that is the time I understood the difference between making money versus earning money. Making money is criminal, earning money is spiritual. Are you with me? I repeat, making money is criminal, earning money is spiritual. You know what that means? When you earn money, you put your ethics and energy behind it. Are you with me? When you earn it, you put your energy and ethics behind it. That is called earning money. Making money is criminal. Earning money is spiritual. Now, think about it. See, wages without work amounts to stealing. We need to reestablish. Now, every few years, there is a new buzzword that comes up somewhere here. Earlier, the buzzword was startups, so everybody was starting up. And then the buzzword came, make in India, so everybody was making in India. Now, whether it worked or not, that's a different issue. But now the new buzzword is work from home. Work from home. Now, maybe in the IT industry and some other service industries, you could possibly work from home. But tell me, how do you work from home in a construction industry? Can you? Answer is no. How do you work from home in a manufacturing industry? Anshul, can you? Answer is no, you can't. Now, I had a banker who visited me the other day. So I asked him, I said, you people are paying salaries to your staff and they're working from home. Are you getting the output from them? Can you justify the salaries that you are paying for staying home? You know what his answer was? He said, Mr. Khera, the 80-20 rule applies. Only 20% of people are mature enough and responsible enough who can work without supervision. 80% people, even if you give them measurable targets, they still need supervision. They're not mature enough to understand that. And people who are not mature, they think working from home is a paid vacation. It's not a paid vacation. Are you with me? Ujjwala, are you with me? Yeah, it is not a paid vacation. So people who are not mature, they don't understand that. Now, coming to the livelihood component, see, we have this little quotation which says, winners don't do different things, they do things differently. So many times people ask me, Mr. Khera, what do they do differently? And my answer is, winners form the habit of doing things losers don't like to do. I repeat, winners form the habit of doing things losers don't like to do. Right, Lakshmi, are you with me? Losers don't like to do. And what are the things losers don't like to do? They're the same things winners don't like to do either, but they do it anyway. See, losers don't like to get up in the morning. Winners don't like to get up in the morning either, but they get up anyway. See, losers don't like to work hard. Winners don't like to work hard either, but they work hard anyway. See, winners form the habit of doing things losers don't like to do. Why am I sharing this with you? Because if we have to think to do the right thing, we can never do it right. I repeat, if we have to think to do the right thing, we can never do it right. It must come automatic. It must become reflex action. You see, I don't care how old we are. Our parents said one thing when we were growing up: form good habits and habits form characters. I repeat, form good habits and habits form characters, because 90% of our behavior is habitual. We don't think, we just act. If we have positive habits, we are a positive character. If we have negative habits, we are a negative character. And good habits are hard to come by, but they're easy to live with. And bad habits come easy, but they're hard to live with. And before we got the habits got us. Are you with me? Before we got the habit has got us. We are creatures of habits. Now, let me share with you, you might have heard this many, many times. You see, many times people say, look at this guy, he is lucky. करुणा आपने जरूर सुना होगा, साहब ये तो मिट्टी को हाथ लगाता है सोना हो जाती है. He is lucky. And this guy is just unlucky. ये तो सोने को हाथ लगाता है मिट्टी हो जाती है. You know something, there is truth in this statement. Let me explain to you. It is not luck. The person we call lucky, every time he touches dirt becomes gold. Analyze their life. Analyze every transaction in their life, and you will find the positive behavior has become habitual. Every time they do it right. It happens right because the reflexes are moving right. Habitually. And the person we call unlucky, analyze their life, analyze every transaction in their life, and you will find the negative behavior has become habitual. Every time they do it wrong. It happens wrong because the reflexes are moving wrong. I'll share with you an example. In martial art, when a person gets a white belt, yellow belt, gray belt, the purple belt, green belt, brown belt, black belt, 5 years later, they're still doing block punch, block punch, block punch, what they learned when they got the white belt. Why does a teacher make them do block punch 5 years later after they got the black belt? You know why? They want to get the block and punch into reflex action. Because the teacher realizes that if the student is ever in a street fight, if he has to think to block and punch, guess what will happen? He'll get beaten up. A martial arts student never has to think to block and punch. Their reflexes move. आप लोगों ने कितनी बारी सुना होगा, practice makes perfect. Have you heard that? Yes, no. Yes, no? Raj Lakshmi, have you heard that? Okay. Well, how many agree with this statement that practice makes perfect? Just raise your finger. You agree with that or not? You agree with that? Okay. All of you got incorrect answers. All of you are incorrect. Hear this carefully. Practice does not make perfect. Practice only makes permanent whatever you practice. I repeat, practice only makes permanent whatever you practice. Only perfect practice makes perfect. Some people keep practicing their mistakes and they become perfect in making mistakes. I'm not playing on words. You see, when people join martial art, these young kids, they want to hit hard. At that time, the teacher said, son, go slow. Learn the right form. If your form is incorrect, that will become permanent. And if you hit hard and your form is incorrect, you will fracture your own hand. So learn the form correct. Then speed comes in. देखिए, success is a habit and so is failure. Success is a habit. Some people, no matter what they do, they're successful. It's a habit and so is failure. आपको एक छोटा सा उदाहरण देता हूं मैं. See how many times have you heard people saying, झूठ बोलते हैं सब वो. They tell lies. And you know what they say? This is a little lie. ये छोटा झूठ है, बड़ी चीज आएगी, I will tell the truth. You practice enough little lies in your life, when the big one comes, what happens? You end up telling a big lie. Are you with me? You end up telling a big lie. And same thing. People say, well, this is a little thing. When the big one comes, I'll show courage. You practice cowardice, enough little things in life. When the big one comes, what happens? You end up being a big coward. Remember, practice does not make perfect. Practice only makes permanent whatever you practice. Are you with me so far? Are you with Mukul? Are you with me? Mukul, are you with me? Mukul Pandit. Okay. So, very clear on what we are talking here. Now, And I'll share you one little example, then I'll move forward here. You know, all over the world, the defense forces all over the world, 70% of their time in defense services goes into simulation of warfare. Anshul, you know what simulation of warfare is? They play war games as if there's a real war going on right now. Why? Because they want to bring into reflex action. Why? Because they realize when there's a real war, if they have to think to fight a war, do you think they can fight a war? Answer is no. So I'm sharing all this because we must bring all positive behavior into reflex action. That's what the whole thing is all about. So remember one thing, take home, practice does not make perfect. Practice only makes permanent whatever we practice. आप झूठ बोलिए, आपकी आदत बन जाएगी. When the big one comes, you'll keep telling lies anyway all through your life. Okay. Now, the third component is the lifestyle part. Now, till the lockdown came in, all of us were running in the fast lane. Everybody was running. Where we were going, we didn't know, but we had no time. We had no time. Now, look at the paradox. The amount of time-saving devices we have today, we've never had that many in history. And yet, we don't have what? Ujjwala, what do we don't have? Time. Now, why don't we have time? Because somewhere we messed up our priorities. And I'm not giving lectures here. I'm guilty myself. And when we mess up our priorities, we forget to distinguish between what's urgent in life and what's important in life. Urgent may or may not be important, and important may or may not be urgent. But the interesting thing is, whenever we ignore what is important, it always converts into urgent. See, health is important, not urgent. Exercising every day is important, but not urgent. Now, if I have a crucial meeting tonight and I cannot exercise, it's not the end of the world. But if I ignore my health long enough, guess what happens? I will land up in the hospital. You ignore what is important, it converts into urgent. Look, in life, relationships are important, Karuna. Relationships are important. But if you ignore relationship long enough, guess what happens? You start talking through your lawyers. Are you with me? See, you ignore what is important, it always converts into urgent. Now, see, what this lockdown has done is literally forced people to step backwards and reevaluate the priorities. You see, you ask people, why do you go to work? I go to work for my family. Why do you work hard? I work hard for my family. Who are the most important people in your life? My family. Who are the most neglected? Also my family. What a joke. The most important people many times do become the most neglected too. And I'm guilty myself. But what this crisis has done is made people step backwards and say, buddy, I was running all right till now, but was I running in the right direction? So the moral of this little story is that in life, direction is much more important than speed. Are you with me? I repeat one more time. Anshul, direction in life is much more important than speed. So we need to reevaluate where we are. Okay, now let's move on to the next side. And that is, through history, there are only two examples of crisis like this. Never happened before. One was the Spanish flu, which I'm not going to talk about. You must have heard enough times. But the second one was the Great Depression of 1929. Banks failed, stock market crashed, $100 became $15. Dollar lost its value by 85%. And 15 million people were unemployed. Even now in the US, there's a huge number of people who are unemployed, and that goes into a few million, 30, 40 million people. This is only US, by the way. Globally, it's much larger numbers. Now, but there were some people. The interesting part is that experience shows, Ujjwala, hear this carefully. Experience shows whenever unemployment goes up, self-employment always goes up. I repeat, Karuna, whenever unemployment goes up, self-employment always goes up. Now, there were some people who started the business during the Great Depression, and today they are household words. I want to share only 3 examples. Now, how come they were able to do what they achieved today? You see, they had no money, no risk-taking ability, no knowledge of technology, they were not techies, and they were not educated. But they had one thing. They were positive people, and they were solution-focused people. Have you noticed there are some people who are problem-focused? You know what that means? You give them a solution, they'll give you a problem. Have you noticed that breed of people? They have a problem for every solution. Henry Ford said, kick them out, kick them out. You don't want such people like that around you. Okay. Now, one example was a man by the name of George Jenkins. This guy, he started an outlet in his neighborhood with non-perishable durable goods. Why non-perishable? Because if they perish, it's 100% loss. And durable means if they couldn't sell, at least the family could use it. This is how we started 100 years ago. And today, after 100 years, his turnover is $30 billion, net worth over $6 billion. He has 1,000 outlets in the US alone, and the store's name is called Publix Supermarket. You can Google it. Second example, there were 2 brothers in California, Gallo brothers, and they were struggling. They caught hold of some grape, made wine out of it, but nobody had the money to buy it. They started selling the wine at 50% below market. This is how they started 100 years ago. And today, Gallo Winery accounts for 25% of the wine trade in the US, and the net worth is over $12 billion. Third example, there was a man by the name of Simplot. He had a little patch of land. He started cultivating potatoes. Now, what he couldn't sell, they ate. What he couldn't eat started rotting. So he could not afford the loss of rotten potatoes. So he started freezing them. This is how he started 100 years ago. And today, he accounts for 33% of the French fries business in the US. And his worth is close to $10 billion. Now, I don't want to leave my listeners with the impression that you and I start a business and all of us will become billionaires. That is not the message at all. The message is only one thing, that all these people faced problems, and some of them faced much bigger problems than you and I are facing today. Their problems were much worse, but they were solution-focused people. We need to be solution-focused back again, and that's the only answer to overcome, turn a setback into a comeback. Karuna, are you with me? Okay, now let's come back to some steps. How do we overcome the crisis? How do we overcome a crisis? If I have time, I'll cover 9, but if not, at least I will cover 5 at least. So I'll go slow. If you want to take them down, please do so. And if this is being recorded, which is perfectly fine, you can relook at it. I believe this is being recorded. Am I right? Perfectly fine. So you can relook at it again and again. Okay, now, here are some steps. How do we overcome a crisis, or how to turn a setback into a comeback? Now, the first step is the Serenity Prayer. Folks, about 45 years ago, I attended a program in New York by Dr. Norman Vincent Peale, the man who wrote the book Power of Positive Thinking. I'm sure you must have heard the name, but there were close to 1,000 people in the audience. I was one of them. Dr. Peale came, looked at everybody, and said, "You people appear so cool, calm, comfortable. It appears nobody has a problem here." So he asked, "Does anyone have a problem here?" Now, who doesn't have it? So everybody raised their hand. We have it. We have a problem. Then he asked, how many people would like to get rid of their problems? Again, everybody raised their hand. Then Dr. Peale said, while I was coming here, I came across a place where I saw some people who were so relaxed, stretched out, comfortable, they had no problem whatsoever. How many people would like to know where that place is? Again, everybody raised a hand. And then Dr. Peale said, 2 blocks away from here, there is a cemetery. There's a cemetery. There are people lying there, all stretched out, comfortable, relaxed. They have no problem whatsoever. Then he asked, how many people would like to get rid of their problem? Nobody raised their hand. Everybody put their hand in the pocket. And that day, Dr. Peale said, remember, problem is a sign of life. So long as you are alive, you shall have problems. And the day you don't have problems, you would be dead. And then he said, we cannot solve all our problems if we can handle them. And that day, he gave a prayer. That day, he gave a prayer, which is a Serenity Prayer. I'll say it once in English, once in Hindi. And in my opinion, that is the gist of life. And for the past 45 years, Anshul, I have never left the home without the prayer. And I've come across many adversities. The prayer has helped me tremendously. And let me share with you what the prayer is. It is called the Serenity Prayer. Some of you might have heard it before. And it goes like this. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things that I cannot change, and courage to change the things that I can, and wisdom to know the difference, what I can and what I cannot. परमात्मा मुझे इतना संतुलन दो जो मैं बदल नहीं सकता, आपकी सौगात समझ के स्वीकार करूं, और अगर बदल सकता हूं तो मुझे इतनी हिम्मत और हौसला दो कि मैं उसे बदल दूं, और इतनी सुबुद्धि दो कि उनमें फर्क बता सकूं, क्या बदल सकता हूं और क्या मैं नहीं बदल सकता. Now, if you analyze and dissect this little prayer, God grant me the serenity to accept the things that I cannot change. Now, let me ask you, can we change everything in our lives? No. Can we mold everything to suit ourselves the way we want it? Answer is no. There are many things beyond us, such as, I didn't choose my parents, neither did you. I didn't decide where I was going to be born, neither did you. If this is my height and the color of my skin, there's nothing I can do about it. And granted, some people are born deformed. Granted, sometimes bad things happen to good people for no fault of their own. What wrong did they do? Who knows? It says, if I cannot change, let me accept it graciously, not grudgingly. You realize there are many people who keep fighting the things that they cannot change. And they keep resisting it. And they bring stress into their life. They become paralyzed, unproductive. So if I can't change something, let me accept it graciously. And if I can change, then give me the guts to do it. And wisdom to know the difference, what I can and what I cannot. Are you with me so far? Hello? Are you with me so far? Mr. Pandit, can you hear me? Mr. Pandit, can you hear me? Okay, say yes, doesn't matter. Don't worry about all that stuff. Just put your thumb like this, that's good enough. Okay, now, you see, when I wrote my new book, You Can Achieve More, which was launched in London about a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, I took this thought and took it 2 steps forward, and I wrote in my book that life is full of choices and life is full of compromises. Seems like a contradiction, but not really. See, how is life full of choices? Ujjwala, if I ill-treat you, I have chosen to be ill-treated, haven't I? If I treat you with discourtesy, I have chosen to be treated with discourtesy, haven't I? If I light up a cigarette, I've chosen to invite cancer, haven't I? If I drink and drive, I have chosen to invite an accident, haven't I? And if I exercise every day, I have chosen to invite good health, haven't I? And if I eat too much every day, I have chosen to be obese, haven't I? And if I tell lies, I have chosen to lose my credibility, haven't I? Are you with me? And if I tell the truth, I have chosen to be a credible person, haven't I? See, life is full of choices. See, we are all free to the point of choice. But after we make our choices, the choice controls the chooser. We have no more choice. I repeat, we are all free to the point of choice. But after we make our choices, the choice controls the chooser. We have no more choice. Now, how is life full of compromises? As somebody said, well, in life, we cannot choose the cards that are dealt to us. What we can choose is how we play the game. And sometimes nature gives us a lemon. The choice is ours. Do we cry or do we make lemonade? That's our choice. Are you with me so far? Hello? Okay, good. Now, come to the next. You see, this one question people ask me a lot. Mr. Khera, that people who are successful, don't they make mistakes? And people who are failures, don't they do positive things in life? And my answer is that people who are successful, they do make mistakes. But remember, Anchal, making a mistake once in a while does not make anybody a failure. Repeating the same mistake again and again is what brings failure. And doing something positive once in a while does not bring success either. Repeating the same positive behavior again and again is what brings success. What is success? Series of positive decisions in life is called success, and series of negative decisions in life is called failure. And that's about it. It's not that complicated. That's one, step one. step two. Step two, so you want to overcome crisis, turn a setback into comeback, learn to convert downtime to uptime, wasted time to productive time. How do you do that? In my book, You Can Achieve More, the new one, I have mentioned a survey in US which said that an average American watches 4 hours of TV per day. Now, by the way, this was before the crisis. Right now, there are people watching 8-10 hours of TV per day. Now, that's not only US, Europe, India, Australia, many places, there are people watching 6 hours of TV, 4 hours of TV per day. So one day, a man went to his friend who used to watch a lot of TV. So he asked him, how much did this TV cost you? He said, $1,000. He said, have you ever calculated the money value of your time? He said, you don't know the cost of your TV. He said, what do you mean? And he asked, how much money do you make a year? He said, probably $100,000. And he says, how many hours do you work a year? He said, about 2,000 hours. So multiplied 365, he said 4 hours of TV per day, multiplied 365. If you watch 4 hours, your hourly rate comes to $50 an hour. And if you watch 4 hours of TV per day, that is $200 per day. Multiply 365, that comes to close to $100,000 per year. He said, do you know that is more than your EMI on $1 million home? And you are just wasting that time watching TV. Folks, $100,000 is more than your EMI on $1 million home. And he said, you are wasting that time watching TV. Now, don't get me wrong. We all watch TV. We like it. There are movies. It relaxes us. But watching 4 hours, what the hell are you doing? You are wasting your life. And those people are making money. Now, this was one part. But I have mentioned another survey in the book that currently about 85% of millionaires and billionaires in the world are first generation, 85%. Only 15% coming from inheritance. I repeat, 85% of millionaires and billionaires are first generation. Ujjwala, did you know that? Did you know that? 85% of millionaires and billionaires are first generation. Only 15% are coming from inheritance. So they were asked, how come you made so much money in such a short time? And their answer was, we read books. How many books? About 50 books a year. 50 books a year means 1 book a week. 1 book per week. Go Google this. Warren Buffett reads 6 to 8 hours per day. Bill Gates is an avid reader. Multimillionaires and billionaires read 1 book a week. And what kind of books do they read? They said, we have no time to waste. We don't read fiction. Fiction is fiction, will remain fiction. We read only self-help books. You know why? One good idea is worth $1 million. Tell me, how many ideas do you need to succeed in life, Karuna? Only 1. And they read 50 books a year. So what does it tell us? There is a connection between learning and earning, and learning and earning, and learning and earning, and learning and earning. But there are people who watch TV, they are unemployed, but they will not read a book. And they say, when I have the money, I'll buy it. You can get any book for free and from a library. But they will never do it. They will keep complaining, I'm unlucky. Now, I've learned one more thing, that a serious reader will never borrow or lend books. They never do that. Many times people come to me and they say, Mr. Khera, I have a new book. I can lend it to you. I said, don't. Either give it to me, gift it to me, sell it to me. Don't lend it to me. Why? Because I won't give it back to you. Why? Because when I read a book, I always underline and make notes on the side. Why? Because I learned one thing. Reading a good book once is not good enough. I repeat, reading a good book once is not good enough. There are books I've read 7 times, 8 times, 9 times. Now, why am I sharing this with you? Very important reason. Arrow Electronics out of US, it's a $26 billion company. They're my clients. And just last quarter, they celebrated the highest sales, one of the highest sales, $2 billion in the last quarter during lockdown period. And they celebrated, and I keynoted their conference. So I asked the managing director, I said, tell me, how come you got so much success during this lockdown period? You know what he said? He said, Mr. Khera, I attended your program about 10, 15 years ago. And he said, when I took over as managing director, we had only 2% market share. And now we have 20% market share. And he said, at the back of your room, you were selling books and tapes. He said, I bought everything in your stall. And he said, not only for me. He said, I have hundreds of people working for me in my company. He said, I bought books for all of them, and I gave books to everybody there. And he said, everybody in my company has read your book. And not only once, they read your book every year, once a year. He said, I read your book every year, once a year. And he said, if you ever forget a paragraph from where it is, call me, I'll tell you where it is. I remember your book by heart. He has read my book 15 times. And he said, we make it a point to practice it. But there are many people who say, well, I've read your book once. I said, you wasted your time and money also. You just wasted your time and money also. You have got nothing out of it. Folks, are you with me? Do you see what I'm saying to you? Okay, convert wasted time to productive time. Now, I'll share with you one example. If during this crisis, if we have not upskilled ourselves or become more knowledgeable or become healthy and fitter, it is not because we lack time, but we lack commitment. Now, why am I saying that? The lockdown took place in March last year, if you remember. Now, I did my first webinar on 8th of April. Anshul, you got to hear this. First webinar I did 8th of April last year. Now, till 8th of April, I was learning to do SMS for my grandchildren. I did not know how to turn the computer on. In my life, I have never done an email. I don't know how to do an email. But I learned how to operate the Zoom only, at least the computer, the laptop. I've learned it. And since that day to date, the seminar that I'm doing for you people today, this is my 164th webinar. 164th webinar. And by the way, we get paid for it. Pricewaterhouse, Aviva, Deloitte, they paid us money for it. We're getting paid for our seminars and workshops. It has opened up totally a new line of business for us. So what has happened? We've upskilled ourselves, number one. Number two, I used to read about 30, 40 books at one time. I dropped the habit. I went back, picked up my books. I spent 2 to 3 hours every day reading a good book or listening to a YouTube motivational video, 3 hours per day. So I'm gaining a little more knowledge. And third, barring the last 6 months where I had pneumonia, I was hospitalized. But before that, I'd lost 10 kilos of weight. I was exercising every day and I was feeling stronger. Folks, think about it. If during this crisis, if you have not upskilled yourself or become more knowledgeable or become healthier and fitter, you cannot blame that I had no time. Folks, are you with me? Okay. Step three. Step 3 is to overcome any crisis in life, build strong relationships. Folks, our biggest asset is not our bank balance. Our biggest asset in life is our relationship balance. Have you noticed one thing? That people who have good relationships, what they can achieve with one phone call, you cannot achieve with $1 million. Are you with me? People who have good relationships, what they can achieve with one phone call, you cannot achieve with $1 million. And when we talk of relationships, what are we talking? Personal, professional, and social, all three together. Now, what does relationship mean? I do address business schools, many different parts of the world, but now in the business school, they're teaching one more thing. That join the Rotary, join the Lions, join the Chamber of Commerce's. Why? So you can network. Network, even join FICCI. There are many people who have joined FICCI only for what reason? Networking. Now you ask people, what the hell are you doing? And the answer is, I'm networking. Why are you networking? I'm networking because I'm building contacts. Why are you building contacts? I'm building contacts because someday he could be useful. He's a doctor, he's a lawyer, he's a politician, he's a mafia, he's a gunda, he's a moneyed guy. Someday he could be useful. Now, usefulness goes, friendship also goes. Usefulness goes, friendship also goes. They have never taught them the difference between, there's a big difference between building a contact versus building a relationship. Are you with me? There's a big difference between building a contact versus building a relationship. Now, people who build contacts only that someday he could be useful, they're rascals, they're parasites, they're crooks, they're only takers in life. They're only selfish people. You can never build relationship with people like that. Now, we have an office in Singapore. And one evening I came from dinner and a man met me in the lobby. He asked me, Mr. Khera, you came from dinner? I said, yes. He said, you met some people tonight? I said, yes. And his first thing was, I hope you met some people who could be useful to you. Look at this guy. He said, I hope you met some people who could be useful to you. This guy is meeting people. Criteria of meeting people is only usefulness. What you can extract out of these people. I felt like giving a piece of my mind. This person does not understand that meeting good people in life is good enough. Usefulness is a byproduct of relationship. Are you with me? Hello? I repeat, meeting good people in life is good enough. Usefulness is a byproduct of relationship. उज्ज्वला, are you with me? मैं आपको अभी बात बताऊंगा कि मेरे को 1 घंटा से ऊपर हो गया है जो मैं बात कर रहा हूं. There is no business school in the world that teaches all this stuff. I don't know if you're running a college or something, I'll share with you. You see, important thing is, now, what builds a relationship? You keep hearing, to build relationship, you must be tolerant in life. You must be tolerant in life. Now, you heard that before. How many agree that one needs to be tolerable? I'm sorry, tolerance is a good word. How many agree with that? Just raise your thumb. Yes, no. How many agree with that? Yes, no. Yes, no. Karuna, yes, no. Oh, come on. Go ahead. Yes. You got it? Yes. Anshul, you got yes or no? Just thumbs up. Or you up or no? Oh, tolerance is a good word. Yes, no. Okay. Okay. If you raised your thumb like this, all of you give the wrong answer. All of you gave the wrong answer. Let me share with you, in my vocabulary, tolerance is a bad word. You see, tolerance does not build relationships. I will replace that word with mutual respect. Mutual respect. I and my wife live together, Karuna, not because we can tolerate each other. We live together because we respect each other. The day respect for each other goes, we cannot live together. If we live together only because we can tolerate each other, you know what it means? Postponing the blast. Employers and employees work long-term together, not because they can tolerate each other. They work together long-term because they respect each other. If you don't have respect, if it is only tolerance, it's a matter of time before you part company. Anshul, are you with me? It is mutual respect. And what builds that respect? You cannot be a taker in life. In order to build relationships, we need to learn to give in life. आपको एक एग्जाम्पल देता हूं. Supposing I have a friend of 20 years, and tonight if he has a problem, who is the most natural person he will go for help to? The friend of 20 years. He's not going to make new friends tonight. Is it my duty to help? Answer is yes. If I help, am I doing a favor? No. Remember, helping a friend is a duty of a friend. It is never the purpose of friendship. Because if it becomes a purpose, purpose finishes, friendship also finishes. It is mutual respect. Remember, helping a friend is a duty of a friend. It is never the purpose of friendship, because if it is a purpose, then the purpose finishes, friendship also finishes. Now, all this that I just shared with you in the last little over an hour, I don't know of any business school in the world that teaches all this stuff. Do you know of any school in the world that teaches all this stuff? None. Now, when I do corporate training program, we do for Lufthansa, Johnson & Johnson, HP in 20 countries. Now, today when I do training programs, I tell my corporate people that what I am doing in your company today is repair work. I'm repairing. Now, if you prepare them, you won't have to repair them. Where do you prepare them? In schools and colleges. And sadly, the schools and colleges are not doing their job today. Now, the dean of James Cook University from Australia, the Singapore campus, he attended a program. And he says, Mr. Khera, I've been in academics for the past 30 years. He said, I haven't seen anything like this. And he said, we want you to set up a center of leadership excellence for us in our Singapore campus. And they have partnered with us and we have signed with them to do leadership training program for them in Singapore. And we have titled the program by saying, prepare them, don't repair them. Ujjwala, I said, prepare them, don't repair them. Okay, that's step 3. Now step 4. I'll just go 2 more and I'm going to close this program. Step 4. Become a proactive person, not a reactive person. See, when we do our 4-day leadership programs, we ask people, are you a good person? And sometimes they say, yeah, I'm a good person. You take them by surprise. And then you ask them, what makes you good? He said, well, I don't do bad, so I'm good. I don't tell lies, I don't cheat, I don't steal, so I'm good. And my answer to them is, I disagree with your answer. Not doing bad does not make a person good. If you don't steal, it only means you're not a thief. But that does not make you good. If you don't tell lies, it only means you're not a liar, but that doesn't make a person good. See, go ask a medical doctor. Absence of ill health does not mean good health. Mukul, are you with me? Absence of ill health does not mean good health. True, Anshul? Okay. So, not doing bad does not make a person good. A person becomes good when they proactively do good. Now, I've been doing the leadership programs for the past 30, 35 years. And I've learned one thing, that a good leader always takes a stand for something and takes a stand against something. A good leader is never neutral. If you're neutral, you're a politician. Are you with me? If you are neutral, you are a politician. Now, why do I say this? I did a program for maybe 5,000, 6,000 people, I can't remember. After I finished, one person from the audience came up and he asked me, Mr. Khera, are you a Gandhian? Are you a Gandhian? Now, I've learned one thing, Ujjwala, that before you answer a question, you should clarify. One, and number 2, sometimes the best answer to a question is a question also. So I asked him, I said, sir, can you define a Gandhian for me? Can you clarify what makes a Gandhian? What are the principles of being a Gandhian? So he said, Gandhi believed in 3 principles. 1, with love, you can win everybody in this world. Gandhi believed that with love, you can win everyone. That's first principle of Gandhi. Number 2, he believed in tolerance. 3, he believed in non-violence. Karuna? Right? He believed in non-violence. 3 principles of Gandhi. Then he again looked at me and he asked me, are you a Gandhian? I don't know what came to my mind. I said, I've been living in the US for the past 45 years. But I'm an Indian. And being an Indian, we respect our epics, the Ramayana, Mahabharata, Bhagavad Gita, and Guru Granth Sahib, we respect. I've not read them, but I've heard them. So I don't know what came to my mind. I asked him, sir, can you tell me, was Ram a Gandhian? और भाई सोच के बोलो, was Ram a Gandhian? Now you talk of 3 principles of Gandhi. Number 1, with love you can win everybody. Tell me, was Ram able to win with love everybody? Answer is no. 2, you said tolerance. Did Ram say, I'm a very tolerant guy, you kidnap my wife away, I'll get another one, you kidnap that one, I'll get a third one, you'll kidnap a third one, I'll get a fourth one? Did he say that? He said, no, I don't tolerate kidnappers. So Ram failed the second test. 3, you said non-violence. I said, what did Ram do? He pulled out his weapon and he killed that rascal. He killed that evil. Even for self-defense, that was violence. So I said, Ram failed all 3 tests. And Ram never said, let's compromise. There's no compromise. Ram didn't say, I'm neutral. Let us talk and negotiate. It didn't work like that. He said, to hell with you. He killed him and he got his wife back. So Ram was not a Gandhian. And then I said, why go that far? Go and look at our own Sikh history. The 10 Sikh Gurus. The 10th Sikh Guru, when Aurangzeb, the Mughals were forcibly converting into Islam. At that time, the 10th Guru, was he able to win with love? Answer is no. Did he say, I will tolerate for terrorism? He said no. Did he have to pull out his weapon and fight? Answer is yes. He was not a Gandhian either. And I said, you talk of scriptures. Show me one scripture which says, when the enemy is auctioning the respect and dignity of your women and children, where does it say that at that time you should go to the temples and do bhajan, kirtan and meditation? Where does it say? He said, that's the time to bloody well fight. Not fighting is called cowardice. And I said, listen carefully, I'm not a Gandhian. I am not a Gandhian. I'm very clear about it. Folks, in life, learn to take a stand. Hello, learn to take a stand. If you're neutral, go become a politician. You are all leaders. From the flow that you're listening to, you're all leaders. Learn to take a stand. Stop being neutral. You have to make decisions in life. Okay. Lastly, to overcome any crisis, learn to accept responsibility. Stop playing the blame game. Folks, one of the biggest damage done to India has been done by our media. Print media, electronic media. Have you noticed one thing, Anshul? Anytime you turn the TV on, what do you see? There is a Babaji, Guruji Maharaj, Shastriji, Guruji, wearing saffron or white, and he's got 3 tilaks here and 3 tilaks here. And he's asking somebody who called in, क्या नाम है आपका, कहां से बोल रहे हो, जन्म तिथि बोलो, जन्म टाइम बोलो. गुरुजी मालूम नहीं. कहता कोई नहीं, मैं निकाल लूंगा आपका. He has a laptop in front of him. And he does tick, 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 tick. And he says, तुम दूसरा घर तीसरे के घर में बैठा है, तीसरा चौथे के घर में बैठा है, चौथा पांचवें घर में बैठा है, छठा घर में बैठा हुआ है, और फिर मंगलिक हो गए, मंगलिक 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 मंगलिक, एंड देन इसे हो शनि चढ़ गया, शनि चढ़ गया, शनि चढ़ गया, शनि चढ़ गया. नाउ द गाय इज स्कैर्ड, ही इज स्कैर्ड, शनि चढ़ गया. सो हाउ डू आई गेट रिड ऑफ शनि, ही वांट्स टू नो. तो गुरु जी उसको उपाय बताते हैं कि बेटा शनि उतारने का उपाय क्या है. एक काला रुमाल लो, उसमें काली दाल डालो, उसमें काला काजल लगाओ, फिर काले बाल वाला खोजो, 7 बारी खोपड़ी पे घुमाओ, फिर काला कुत्ता खोजो, फिर काला बर्तन खोजो, एंड दिस इज हाउ दे आर गोइंग थ्रू द प्रोसेस एंड पीपल आर डूइंग दिस स्टफ. साहब मैं आपसे एक बात पूछना चाहता हूं, तो जरा ध्यान से सुनिएगा. एक बात ये मैं आपसे पूछना चाहता हूं कि भाई एक बात बताओ, शनि को उतारना चढ़ाना, उतारना चढ़ाना, उतारना चढ़ाना इतना आसान है, तो यार भेजो शनि को पाकिस्तान, सारे टेररिस्ट को मरवा दो ना. अगर शनि को उतारना चढ़ाना इतना आसान है, तो भेजो शनि को लद्दाख, वहां से लड़वा दो उनसे. मैं आपसे एक बात पूछना चाहता हूं करुणा, कि शनि परमानेंटली इंडिया में क्यों रहता है? शनि नेवर गोज टू ऑस्ट्रेलिया. अरे शनि परमानेंटली यहीं बैठा हुआ है, नेवर गोज टू न्यूजीलैंड. व्हाट अ जोक. आप अगर स्वामी विवेकानंद की जीवनी पढ़ें, स्वामी दयानंद की जीवनी पढ़ें, गुरु नानक की जीवनी पढ़ें, they fought against it. They never believed in all these things. They fought against it. In fact, Guru Nanak started the whole thing to fight superstition. Do you know, all Sikh families, they never tally patri. Never. There is no Manglik in Sikh families. They have no Shubh Muhurat. Do you know every Sikh wedding is done on a Sunday? Sunday doesn't sit right, they do it on a Saturday. Saturday doesn't sit right, they do it on a Friday. And here, what do? We get a Guruji with some kind of a clothes here, and you touch their feet. Guruji आ गए, उनके पांव पकड़ो. अरे जिसको जेल में होना चाहिए, आप उनके पांव पकड़ रहे हो, शर्म नहीं आती क्या? What a disgrace. The guy should be in jail. They go to these babas. बाबा जी क्या करें, बाबा जी क्या करें. एक बाबा कहता है बेटा प्रीत करो, प्रीत करो. एक बाबा प्रीत बेच रहा है, एक हनी बेच रहा है, एक हनी प्रीत मिक्स करके बेच रहा है. Everything is going on today. What a joke. Now, why am I sharing all this with you? साहब ध्यान से सुनिए, उज्ज्वला ये बहुत जरूरी चीज है. This is how our country is being ruined today. आपको ये मैं आर्टिकल दिखा रहा हूं. ये लिखा, क्या लिखा है? सुपरस्टिशन लिखा है, सुपरस्टिशन. दिस एन आर्टिकल फ्रॉम इंडिया टुडे, January 2018 issue. It says, because of superstition and astrology, natural childbirth has gone down by 80% in many parts of India. And they have quoted here South India, Bangalore, Hyderabad, Madras. Do you know 80% of childbirth in South India is being done through C-section operation? You know why? Some astrologer told them this is good time to pull out the kid, good omen. How do you like that? Hello? This is good omen, pull the kid out at this time. Folks, are you with me? Hello? Are you with me? Just do this. Yeah, are you with me? Okay. Just imagine what is going on. Now, मैं एक बारी, I was going to the airport and the driver hit the brake so hard, the car came to a screeching halt. तो मैंने उसको पूछा कि भैया क्या हो गया? बोले साहब बिल्ली रास्ता काट गई। तो मैंने कहा भाई अब क्या होगा? कहता गाड़ी रोक देता हूं सर, अब शगुन है, जाएंगे तो कुछ नुकसान हो जाएगा। आई सेड इफ माई मिस माई फ्लाइट, बहुत नुकसान होगा। तो आई आस्क्ड हिम कि भैया कब तक गाड़ी रोकोगे? इससे जब तक कोई दूसरी गाड़ी नहीं निकल जाए, दैट सम अदर कार पास। सो आई सेड उसका नुकसान हो जाएगा। He said that's his problem. But here what my next question to this guy was, I asked him, I said, supposing आप 15 गज पहले होते and the cat had crossed the road and you had not seen the cat, in that case you would have just gone straight and you would have been the first car. In that case what would have happened? साहब उसका जवाब सुनने वाला है। कहता है साहब उस हालत में बिल्ली की पावर कम हो जाती है। हाउ डू यू लाइक दैट? कहता है बिल्ली की पावर कम हो जाती है। डू यू नो, यू आर स्माइलिंग, देयर आर MBAs and PhDs doing all this stuff today. That's all they're doing. Folks, remember one thing, faith gives strength, but blind faith leading to superstition weakens people. साहब विश्वास ताकत देता है, अंधविश्वास इंसान को कमजोर बनाता है। Let me share with you in life is not only going up and up and up and up. Life, we have ups and downs. Life is a roller coaster. Yes, no? Okay. Now, you see what happens is when we have downs in life, a person who accepts responsibility, they will analyze and they will ask themselves a question. If a similar situation came again, will I behave the same way? If the answer is yes, means you have not learned anything. They analyze, learn from it, accept responsibility, and they don't repeat the same mistake again. But a person who's not looking to get anywhere in life, when things go wrong, you know what they say? Not my fault. My stars are not favoring me. My stars are not favoring me. And they never learn anything. And they keep repeating the same mistake again and again and again and again. I saw one guy wearing rings because some jyotshi ne bol diya, ye pehn lo, ye pehn lo, ye pehn lo. All 10 fingers, including thumb. He had 10 rings. I said, maybe you got it on your feet also. I have no idea. What a joke. And Vivekanand, Dayanand, Guru Nanak, they never believed in all these things. What are we talking? Now, खाली एक चीज मैं यहां कहना चाहूंगा, वो ये है, in the Q&A session, I don't think we will have much time left, but in the Q&A session in one of my previous programs, somebody asked me a question. He said, Mr. Khera, there are people who go to temples and they wait in line for 10 hours, 12 hours for darshan. Is that faith or blind faith? Here is my answer to them. I said, look, every day I leave home, I pray because I believe in God. Now, why do I believe in God? Have I seen God? Who is God? Where is God? What is God? I don't know who is God, where is God, what is God. I have no idea. But if I don't have the answer to all these things, then why do I believe in God? I believe in God only because this universe, the earth, the sun, the moon, the planet, the way, the animals, the forest, everything that is created globally, this is not work of any human. This is not a human job. It is superhuman. If it is superhuman, then there has to be a superpower. Karuna, superhuman nahi hai, to superpower ne kiya hoga. I have not seen it. So I call it God. But in the last 45 years, barring 3-4 times, I have never been to any temple. And I feel very strongly that 90% people who go to temples today, they go there more out of fear than out of faith. ये नहीं करोगे ये हो जाएगा, ये नहीं करोगे ये हो जाएगा, ये नहीं करोगे ये हो जाएगा. They go there out of fear than out of faith. मैं यही कहना चाहूंगा, अपने व्यूअर्स को learn from Swami Vivekanand, Dayanand, Guru Nanak. सब विश्वास से ताकत बनती है, अंधविश्वास से इंसान और कमजोर बनता है. Stop all this stuff. Educated people are doing all this today. Now, I just want to close this in the last 1 minute now, and I would like to acknowledge something. This is time to give back. We are grateful to God. We have been blessed with a good home, good food, but many people don't have it. It is time for us to share with them, because there are many people who are deprived of it. Now, there is one community. There's one community. Only one community in the world who has been honored by the government of Canada, United States, UK, Australia, New Zealand. Every government in the world has honored one community for the humanitarian service. And guess which community is that? That is the Sikh community of India. They've been honored by every government in the world. The Sikh community of India. You know something why? The concept of sharing langar is not new. It goes back 500 years ago. Since Guru Nanak's time, langar used to start from there. And today millions of people are having food there. Because they're caring people. The Sikhs are caring people, sharing people, and they are daring people. They have the guts to fight. And because Sikhi stands on 3 principles. That's why they've been honored all over the world. Nam Jap, one Shak, Kirat Kar. Nam Jap is there is one God, formless God. Guru Granth Sahib is a God. Guru, that is the Guru now. 1, Nam Jap. 2, one Shak is the concept of sharing, langar. And 3, Kirat Kar. Kirat Kar means dignity of labor, dignity of work. Earn your living by doing work. And no work is small in life. No work is small. Dignity of labor. Ujwala, have you ever seen a Sikh beggar in this world? Have you ever seen a Sikh beggar in this world? You will never see. They will never beg. They'll clean your toilet. They will clean your drains. They will wash your shoes. They will not beg. Means no work is small. And you know, in the Sikh culture, there is no caste. In Sikh, there is no caste. Do you know every Sikh man is called a Singh? Every Sikh woman is a Kaur. There is no caste. I wish the government of India, instead of our own constitution, if they had adopted the Sikh philosophy in this country would have been totally a different country today. Folks, with those words, I know I've exceeded my time, 1.5 hours. I didn't realize I've been speaking. All I can say is I wish you, everybody, good health, stay safe. And Anchal, thanks for inviting me. It is because of your mom and you I'm here today. And I wish all of you
so much, Mr. Khera, for taking your valuable time out today. Absolutely, it's been a pleasure. If okay, can we take some questions?
It's a little over 1.5 hours. Would you still want to take some questions? Maybe if you want to take one, we'll take one question.
Yes, we can take our first question from Ujwala ji.
Oh, okay. She's right there.
Thank you so much. Thank you for this most amazing and inspirational session. Like always, your inspiring words has left a deep mark, leading us to sit back and intercept rediscover our strength, and revive our setbacks.
मैं आपको एक छोटा सा रिक्वेस्ट करूं उज्ज्वला,
Yes,
आप you people are so powerful. You are very powerful, and you are so many of. You know, we need to fight. Otherwise, we will not see India on the world map. We have to fight it. We have to fight it. There is no answer. So, कोई बाहर से नहीं आएगा. And you know, you want to be positive. You want to stay positive. At the same time, can you ignore what the writings on the walls are? We can't. We'll be foolish.
absolutely. I think we all have a lot within us. We just need to discover that and move in the right direction.
I'm getting back now because I pulled myself out, but I have to come back again and refight, start again. चलिए कुछ ना कुछ करेंगे हम.
Okay, my question to you is, our business are aimed at making profits. We tend to prefer economy over ecology at most times. COVID has brought sustainability to the center stage. What advice do you give to businesses, and how do they maintain the right balance between the two?
You need to just get your answer. You need to just look at only one company in the world, and that is the Tata Group.
Right.
They have put ecology ahead of profits. They have put ecology ahead of their profits. And yet, they are profitable. And I'll tell you one thing. If I have to buy something, I'm not going to name another company which has surpassed Tata's also. If I have to choose between Tata's and that company, even if Tata costs me more, I'll buy from Tata's. You know why? Their values are so clear. Their values are so clear, they don't compromise. The day you compromise, you're dead. People say you should compromise. Oh, come on. You can't compromise on values. You cannot. You should not. So that is one company which is so blatantly there, which is a prime example for all of us. And by the way, second company, Godrej. Third company, Infosys. I can just go on. But there are many crooks and rascals too, which have actually done financially much more than them. And maybe you know some names and I know names, but I wouldn't want to buy it from them. They're crooks and they're dangerous, let me tell you that. So anyway, the important thing is, if we destroy our ecology, tell me, where are your kids going to live? Where will you be? You don't even have fresh air today. You don't even have fresh water today. You don't have fresh water today. You don't have fresh air today. You know, people are dying only because of this today. And sadly, one lesson we have learned from history is that we have not learned anything. And we are repeating our mistakes again and again. And that's sad. Okay.
Thank you so much, Mr. Khera. One quick question from me.
Okay.
So a book that I read recently was by Yuval Noah Harari on 21 lessons for the 21st century. And it said that in the very near future, our world is going to be dominated by humans, superhumans, and artificial intelligence. In that context, what are the most important skills we must develop for the future? Or do we need to, or do we just continue the way we are?
Okay. Now, Anshul, Mercedes is a client of ours. Very senior executive of Mercedes wrote an article which was wonderful. See, with the speed of change, including the artificial intelligence that you're talking about, with the speed of change, do you realize that products are getting obsolete the day they're getting launched? ठीक बात है कि नहीं है? Products are getting obsolete the day they're getting launched. And knowledge is getting obsolete within 2 to 3 years. Just look at engineering graduates. By the time they get to the 4th year, what they learned the first year became obsolete. Medical graduates, by the time they get to the 4th and 5th year, what they learned the first year became obsolete. This is the speed of change. Now, it's only going to get worse or more speedier, I guess. Now, with this scenario in this world, either we're in deep trouble,
Mr. Khera, we need to unmute you.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Now, you see, with this speed of change, either we're in deep trouble or we have tremendous opportunity for those who are prepared. Now, when we say tremendous opportunity for those who are prepared, Anshul, tell me, how do you prepare for the unknown when you don't know what's coming? ध्यान से सुनो जो मैं बात बोल रहा हूं. How do you prepare for the unknown when you don't know what's coming? You can only prepare when you know something. तो मैंने एक आर्टिकल लिखा है, which I'm sending to New York Times for publication in New York. उसमें मैंने लिखा है, going into the future, the only people who will succeed in life are those who master 3 skills that have never changed, that will never change. So why not master the constants? See, as they say, change is the only constant today. Well, why is there anything else that is constant? Why not master the constant? And then no matter what comes, we're prepared. So what are the 3 things to master? 1, people skills. 2, persuasion skills. 3, prioritizing skills. If you're prepared with these 3, rest technology will keep changing and you'll be able to handle all that stuff, no problem. Now, why do I say people skills? Go check out all over the world. We don't have business problems, we have people problems. And when we take care of our people problems, most of our business problems are automatically resolved. Are you with me? Number 2, all through history, we are hired for our skills, but we are fired for our behavior. Yes, no. 3, the lower a person is in life, 90% of the time goes in technical skills, less than 10% people skills. Higher you go up, guess what happens? It just, what? It reverses. Anshul, are you with me? Say something. Yeah, it just reverses. Yeah, just reverses. See, what that it tells you is technology and technicians we can always buy with money. But the wealthiest person in the world must build and create relationships. So 1 is people skills. 2, persuasion skills. You know what persuasion means? Ability to influence, negotiate, sell, ability to influence, negotiate, and sell, and convince. This is called persuasion. Now, there are many people who say, well, I don't need selling skills, persuasion skills. I'm into operation, I'm into IT. They're showing basic ignorance. They don't understand anything. If you think about it, who's not selling? A candidate at a job interview, what's he doing? Selling. A candidate, a lawyer arguing in front of the judge, what's he doing? Selling. A politician giving speeches to get votes, what's he doing? Selling. And tell me, what am I doing right now in front of you on the computer? I'm selling an idea. I'm selling an idea. Now, you may or may not buy it, but I am selling an idea. And I have a book which is called You Can Sell. It's a persuasion technique. In this, you can sell. It says, in life, results are rewarded, efforts are not. You know what it means? It means that we judge ourselves by our intentions, but the world judges us by our actions. Are you with me? We judge ourselves by our intentions, but the world judges us by our actions. And that is persuasion skills. And third is prioritizing skills. I already shared with you the difference between urgent and important. You ignore what is important, it converts into urgent. So I'm going to skip that. But these three things, we need to get our priorities right. If you got these three things ready, I don't care what technology comes in. I don't care what AI, BI, CI comes in, intelligence comes in. It makes no damn difference.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Mr. Shiv Khera, for those insights. We at Flow are truly privileged by your dynamic presence today. After today's session, I'm sure we all will be quick to rethink, pivot, and persist in all situations. And always remember, practice makes perfect what you practice. To always be solution focused. Problem is a sign of life.
Let me practice only makes permanent what you practice.
And
you keep telling enough little lies in life. You tell enough little lies in life. And when the big one comes, you say, well, I'll tell the truth. You'll only tell a big lie.
Yeah, absolutely.
Nothing else.
And to try and daily say your Serenity Prayer. I think that's definitely something I think all of us are going to take away.
Very powerful. Very powerful. Help me. Now, you are in Delhi, Anchal, and you owe me a lunch or something, I guess.
Absolutely.
Yeah, lunch or dinner. Is your mom coming to Delhi?
My pleasure.
Is your mom coming to Delhi? I think in the next month, 2 months? Not sure.
We'll make it happen.
Okay.
I'm here. We are
you?
attending the session.
Oh, okay. All right.
And we've got our lovely president, Ujjwala, rocking it the whole year.
Absolutely. Absolutely amazing.
Ujjwala, thank you. God bless you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
And so much, Mr. Shiv Khera.
It was so wonderful, the whole session. Yes, Ujjwala?
Absolutely
inspiring. Takeaway.
Good to see you. Good to see you, Neeta. What a pleasure. All right. So did you log in right from the beginning till now, Neeta? Did you hear the session?
Yes, 100%.
Okay, all right. It is for you a little bit, but that's fine. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Shiv Saab. It was a fantastic session.
Thank you. Grateful to you. Thank you. I'll take your leave with Ujjwala now.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for this amazing session again.
God bless.
Very well conducted session, Ujjwala ji and Anchal.
Thank you.
Congratulations and very good speaker.
Thank you,
Neeta ji, for inviting me, and thank you. God
So
bless you.
lovely to have you. It's a sheer pleasure. Yeah.
Thanks, Neeta.
Thank you.